And a pleasant good evening to you and to yours, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. Quick recap post-game show tonight. Alan Slaughterzinski, and the voice you'll hear in the background tonight will be that of Caleb Brown. I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me, if you will, tonight. Then there were just two undefeated teams remaining in the Brevard County high school football realm. One of them played last night in the Satellite Scorpions, who go and get a 46-7 win over Oxbridge Academy last night. And the other in the eight-man realm, Merritt Island Christian, 55-16 tonight over Countryside Christian. There are your scores there on the screen. Tonight's show, of course, always brought to you by Uberzati. Palm Bay 34, Cocoa Beach 18. These are at least some of the finals that we have in for tonight. And if the score is wrong, I promise you, when you wake up tomorrow morning, wherever we're wrong, we will obviously correct it and make sure we get the recap right as well. So Kevin Mays picks up win number 2 in a row, Caleb, and good for Coach Kevin Mays and good for a Palm Bay program that didn't win a football game last year.
Exactly. Great job by the Pirates, and again, 2 wins in a row. You can build off it.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, it gives you confidence. It gives these student athletes the vision to know that moving forward, they can win football games.
Yes, they can,
and they will win. They will win a few more this season. Arturo Stanley for Cocoa Beach with a touchdown. Stanley with a pass from Vignay. Palm Bay. They don't have any. Florida Today's live scoreboard doesn't have any players for Palm Bay, so I can't give you any updates. But Robinson for Cocoa Beach with a pass from Vignay as well. But it looks like Palm Bay scored on a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown. Number 8 with a 5-yard run, another rushing touchdown, and another rushing touchdown. So congratulations to Palm Bay. Vero Beach, all over Cocoa, 38-3. And listen, you look at some of these scores around the county tonight, Cocoa being, of course, one of those scores. We'll get to O'Galley and Heritage in a minute because that's a game that you and Anthony Knockreiner had. If you would have told me, well, so you got Vero Beach 38, Cocoa 3. You got Cardinal Mooney 39, Rockledge 3. You got West Orange 54, Titusville 21. You look at some of these scores around the county. If you would have told me before the season started that would be the outcome of those games, I would have told you you're crazy. First of all, last year Titusville against West Orange took them to the fourth quarter.
Right.
Cocoa, I mean, what do you want to do here, right? I mean, do you want to sit here and beat up on a bunch of students? It's obviously not a good year for the Cocoa Tigers, right? Obviously, some things are going wrong. I had somebody send me a text and said, look, they can't have it both ways. It can't be the standard and then have a bad year. Well, for 18 years, it's been a program that has gone to the Final Four or better. And if that run comes to an end this year, I know in my lifetime, I've been in Brevard County since 2008. I know in my lifetime, I'll never see another Brevard County high school football team do that again. In fact, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find another freaking high school football team in the state that's done that for 18 straight years. And you're going to get the haters out there that are going to say, well, you can't live on the past. You can't do this. You can't do that. Did anybody ever think it was going to last forever? And that's not to say, I wrote this was going to be a litmus test for the Tigers and a litmus test in were they going to be state contenders. Right now, the answer to that question is no. It's an emphatic no. And I think the coaching staff would agree with that, and their fan base would agree with that. Week 1 against Merritt Island, that was a good football game. And struggling. We saw Merritt Island put up. Listen, Merritt Island tonight loses a football game in which they score 51 points.
Yeah.
You look across this count. Now, they give up 57. That's not a good thing.
No.
And I'm sure Tyler Murray and company will have something to say about that defensively coming in. But I still want to – Coco's still riding a 26-game winning streak in Brevard County. And in 2 weeks, we're going to find out whether that comes to an end or not when they face the O'Galley Commodores, a team you saw tonight who got a gutsy win.
Yes, they did.
Hey, listen – that Heritage football team, if that offense can come together, they're going to beat some people that a lot of people think they shouldn't have beaten.
No, absolutely. And look, that's all it takes. Sometimes it just takes having the right week of practice if you're Heritage. Again, look, they're going to be all focused because you know who they have next week. They have Coco.
Yeah.
So, again.
That's right. I forgot. I thought that game was in 2 weeks. That game is next week.
Yeah, that game's next week.
Yeah.
2 weeks is the one everyone's been clamoring for.
The litmus test for O'Galley comes next week.
Correct. Yeah, you got TFA. And look, I'll say this. The X Factors were X Factors tonight in Xavier Larice and Xavier Corbin.
Now Larice finally, and I say finally, but I mean, he got on the board offensively tonight, and I think that's what the O'Galley Commodore faithful were waiting for.
And Larice took, I would say, 98% of the offensive snaps at quarterback tonight.
Oh, so they ran the Wildcat this evening.
They ran Wildcat with him and handing it off to Corbin and T.J. Monroe. T.J. Monroe gets in the end zone for O'Galley.
Good for TJ.
Huh?
I say good for TJ.
Oh, yes. And Corbin had a nice night. Although he didn't get in the end zone.
He's only scored 6 touchdowns since the kickoff. I think we can excuse him for a week.
But again, he still made his impact in the game. Look, Heritage defensively is really, really good. And I know you were telling me that in me doing the research for the game.
I told you. I said, look, and listen, I give it up to Chris Sands and their staff tonight because – you saw last week Brody Grantland come in and work himself into the offense and become more comfortable with it. But Heritage may have, listen, Mark Ainsley's one of the best defensive minds around. Okay,
yep.
He runs a very confusing variation of the 3-3 stack. I believe he still does. And so you take that. And you run a 3-3, and basically what they do, Brian Helton runs it as well.
Yep.
You're bringing pressure from all over, and you don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
If you're an established quarterback, you don't know where it's coming from. But if you're a guy trying to find your footing, it's difficult.
Yes.
Like a Brody Grantland, or for example, tonight down at MCC, a Sebastian Trurin, who filling in for 2 injured quarterbacks.
Correct.
So kudos to the O'Galley staff because this is the week they switched it up and went to the Wildcat.
Yes.
Maybe they don't win the football game if they go the other way.
I want to say it would have been even interesting to see because that Heritage defense kept O'Galley in check most of that offense in check most of the night. It was just a big play here, a big play there.
Well, that was the other thing we needed to see from O'Galley, and I think that's the thing too. From our co-defensive coordinators of the year. They had given up a series, that O'Galley defense had given up a series of big plays. Last week, 2 70-yarders against Rockledge. Yeah. You can't have that. And they cut that out because, listen, Nathaniel Owens and Jordan Padala, those guys, they did that to Titusville. They were capable of doing that to O'Galley tonight, and it didn't happen.
And I'll say this. I would like to give a shout-out to Nathaniel Owens. He caught a 34-yard slant and took it to the house.
Oh, so they did give up a big one.
Yes, they did. Okay, so a 34-yard slant. Nathaniel Owens.
He's a baller.
Oh, he is. I was like, "Yep, that's another one I'm going to be tracking."
That's a kid that goes and gets the football. And you get receivers in high school that the ball comes to them. They don't understand the hands thing yet. They don't understand the body thing yet. But then you have receivers that attack footballs.
Yes.
Javen Boggs was a receiver that attacked footballs.
Yes.
And so when you see that, It's impressive. And Nathaniel Owens, he did it in week 1 against Titusville. It sounds like he does it again tonight.
Yep.
Anything else stand out to you tonight about that game?
One thing that I know the coaching staff will be talking about is drop balls on the Heritage. There were some plays to be made for Heritage where if they make those plays, we could be talking about
a different outcome.
A very much different. I mean, wide open balls coming in, and it's going to the body, not the hands.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
You got to go get the football sometimes, and you got to make plays. And we're past the point of where we're going to sit here and say, it's young, they'll figure it out. We're going into week 4 next week, I believe. Week 4 of FHSAA, week 5 of SSAA,
Yes.
I believe already. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Right.
For some of these teams, it's not been fun
No,
yet. That's for sure.
And like we said, young receivers got to trust the hands. Trust your hands to grab that football.
But if you're O'Galley right now, you're 2-1.
Yes.
Your litmus test comes next week.
Yep.
And then you come back and you try to take the Brevard County crown away from Cocoa.
Yes.
And if you're O'Galley, that's exactly what you want to do. You don't feel bad because Cocoa got whooped by Vero Beach.
Nope.
I get once we get to December and everybody splits off into 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, I get, you cheer for each other. They cheering for each other right now.
Nope.
O'Galley is happy to see that score tonight from Cocoa. And I don't – listen, if I were a Commodore, I'd feel the same way.
No, 100%. Look, in the season, we always say, in the season, we will beat the snot out of each other. We are a sibling rivalry. We will all beat the snot out of each other.
Right.
Then, when we get to playoff time, hey, big bro, go represent Brevard County.
Yep. But in 2 weeks, it ain't going to be that way. O'Galley's O'Galley's going to be looking to put their foot on the neck of the Cocoa Tigers. And,
oh, yes.
And I don't blame them one bit.
And I will say this for O'Galley, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're when I say they're not backing down in between plays, they're staring players down. They realize the opportunities that are ahead of them, and they're setting a tone and attitude with that team right from the jump. And honestly, I like it.
And they're winning football games. They're making pretty plays, winning ugly.
Yes.
And there's a lot to be said for that right now. And I think if, you go back to that Vero Beach game, we said that Vero Beach would be the test, right?
Yes.
We would know really who the better football team was. Well, O'Galley put 31 points on Vero Beach. Cocoa, tonight, unfortunately, 3.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks.
Like I said, I'm interested in next week. That Cocoa Heritage game does become interesting to me.
Yeah, no, it does. It certainly does because that Heritage defense.
They are physical, Alan.
Well, that's their DNA. Heritage's DNA with Mark Ainsley as the defensive coordinator has, even when he was the head coach, the DNA of that football program. When you put Ainsley's name next to it, is fast and physical, and that's how his defense plays. Tonight, I got to see 2 pretty good football players for St. Andrews, who tonight, listen, I know it says MCC 4. They scored 9 tonight, and let me say this. I don't know what to make of I saw some weird calls tonight in this football game at MCC. And again, another 2-hour and 45-minute football game littered with flags. Listen, a lot of that is on the 2 teams, okay? Because there's a lot of things MCC has got to clean up discipline-wise. But I saw some things tonight that just made me shake my head, and I'm gonna reach out this week because I have some questions about some calls that were made this week that I really don't want to butcher on future broadcasts, but I need to know what the hell happened. Am I right or am I wrong? Or
right.
What am I looking at is basically what I need to know.
Yes.
But I saw 2 football players tonight for St. Andrews. One, Dylan Faison, who is a D1 commit to Notre Dame for lacrosse and for football. Heck of a football player. and another young man, a wide receiver by the last name, or Wesley Wynn was his name, and they balled out. And I got to give it up for a couple guys on MC. Noah Flores, no, every time another kickoff return. I said on the broadcast tonight. So St. Andrews goes down the field. They score. Their two studs get involved. Faison beats O'Galley's coverage by 5 yards. Quarterback drops the ball and touchdown. The ensuing kickoff, I said, there's no way they're going to kick this ball to Noah Flores, right? Somebody at St. Andrews has watched film. There's no way they're going to kick this ball to Noah Flores, right? Well, that's exactly what they did.
I don't understand why everyone has that thinking.
100 yards later, it's tied up. Now, Galley actually took the lead on. They had a safety on a bad snap on a fumble, and that was it. Growing pains for Sebastian Troyan tonight, but again, a sophomore quarterback, and he's going to get it. And Noah Flores and Howard DeWitt and Ja'Cory Mills and on the defensive side, and you saw big Javion Cooper come in tonight and try to do what he could, and I think tonight it was a combination of a couple of things for MCC, but I think they ran across a football team tonight that ended up being a little better than they were right now at this time of the year. And, kudos to guys like Vance Sanger, who, watching those guys Vance Sanger had a full body cramp with the likes I've never seen. Ooh. Think about that for a second, right? So, I mean, MCC's got some things to clean up. They do, and Sebastian Troyan will be better as the weeks progress. But I don't know that I had this circled for St. Andrews when the schedule was, because the next couple of weeks are tough haul. Riviera Prep, they go on the road, and then they come back and they play Bishop Moore. If MCC doesn't get some of this stuff cleaned up, they could be staring at 1-3. And I know they don't want to be looking at 1-3.
No, they do not.
So let's go back to the scoreboard there. Cardinal Mooney all over Rockledge. That game was over after 3 quarters weather-wise. Vieira, 40, Astronaut 14. I understand we had some signal issues there tonight. We suck. I apologize. I know. I know we had 2 different internet systems up there tonight. It's a tough part of the county to obtain a signal from at times, sometimes. And, our guys battle through it, I understand. Yes. I understand we got one stream up through it. But Vieira with a nice win tonight. Putting points on the board, finding offensive rhythm against the team that I think is physical, against the team that I think is going to be a 6 or 7 win team this year. You look at Astronaut, I believe it's a team that learns from a loss like this. But for Vieira, 4 quarters of football tonight for them. Good for them, because I think that was the thing that was missing for them. Again, I don't see a lot of updated names on here, but it was 26-7, it looks like, at halftime, and Vieira put 14 more on them in the fourth. Astronaut was 7 in the second and 7 in the fourth. Vieira, just looking here, says Gabe Freeman with a 63-yard pass from Eric Nelson. Freeman with a 3-yard pass from Nelson. Duke Butler with a 12-yard touchdown run tonight. Love watching Duke run. Draquan Jones with a run for Astronaut. And that's your final. I'll take a look at the game, and, we'll give our, by the time Sunday rolls around, we'll give our, putting a stamp on week 3, what we think we know. So Vieira over Astronaut. Holy Trinity, congratulations to Hurley Brown as they get a nice shutout victory over Port St. Lucie, 47-0. Titusville down. I'm going to have to go back and try to see or talk to whatever I can here. 54-21, the Terriers fall tonight. And in a game I would have paid $100 to see. DeLand, 57, Merritt Island, 51. Close defensive nail-biter there, Caleb.
Yeah. Apparently, according to the game tracker that I was watching, someone was updating on Max Preps. And at one point, Merritt Island had the ball. They were down inside their own 20 with a minute left to go and just unfortunately, couldn't put anything together on the final drive. But I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, it looks like they put together a whole lot prior to that.
Right. No, 100%. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they were in that close one. 100 points in regulation, people.
This was a top 40 team. I believe the Lamb was 37th in Florida on max preps. Let me ask you this. You look at Merritt Island. Mm-hmm. They go toe-to-toe with Cocoa week 1. Granted, they were down at 14-7 to Melbourne last week, but, capitalized on turnovers and ended up doubling them up.
Yep.
With what they can do, it looks like offensively, obviously they've put some things together offensively here. That game between them and O'Galley is going to be fun and could be for a district title.
It could be, and you know what? Right.
Will be. Sounds like it.
As the teams look right now, Merritt Island looks like it may be the slightly
Caleb's gonna say it.
Slightly better team, and you know what? If I get hate for it, I'll take the hate.
All right, I hear you.
Just from what I've observed,
we don't put our rankings out until after week. What was it? 6, week 5,
5 or 6,
5 or 6. I have to go back and look. We don't put our rankings out until after week 5, so we have 2 more weeks to watch and see. And it's week 5, so. I was happy because it fell perfectly this year because week 5's Cocoa O'Galley, right? So, but, so that was going to be easy to pick number 1, right? Because we knew. But it may not be. And Mark Moses asked me the other day, who's best team? I said, well, 3 Merritt Island, 3 O'Galley, 3 Cocoa, right? 1, 2, 3, right? I saw another media outlet's rankings the other day. I don't think, and I mean no disrespect to anybody out there, but we have talked about the SSAA and the FHSAA, strength of schedule. Our rankings are based on strength of schedule, quality of opponents, quality of wins, even quality of losses.
Yes.
Right? And that's how we pretty much approach our rankings. So we'll see how it shakes out. But let's get this wrapped up because we got youth football tomorrow. Bayside 22, Tradition Prep 6. Way to go, Coach Billy Miller and the Bears. I believe they're 2-1 now.
Yeah.
Yep, 2-1. No, 2-2. 2-2, I think, because that's their 4th game. 22-6, Merritt Island Christian. Right now, they are the dominant team in 8-man football. And if you're looking for a state champ in high school football this year, it's Merritt Island Christian.
I had a chance to talk to their defensive coordinator, Mr. George Shell.
George, great guy.
He is, and he was telling me. So the SSAA has changed their playoff format. They now go to a 16-team format.
Okay.
And it's just straight. They're feeling really confident over there in Merritt Island. They like their division matchups, and so it's now 4 playoff games instead of the traditional 3.
I like that.
And no buys. 1 v16. It's all straight up.
College football playoff, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I don't think anybody's beating them right now. That's for sure.
He said right now they're eyeing. They have a really big matchup in 2 weeks versus Donahue Catholic.
And that's the matchup to keep an eye on, huh?
Out of Ave Maria.
The only thing that could derail them, knock on wood, is injuries. It's what derailed them last year. Bodie Handwork hurt his shoulder last year, and some other guys went down. It did them in. I mean, they fought to the bitter end. And when I say fought, I mean fought. I literally watched Bodie Handwork come off the field with his shoulder drag. I was doing the game with Adam Franco.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, and so, God willing, with the assumption of health, I like their chances to win a state championship. Calvary Chapel shoots themselves in the foot tonight. At the football game, I'm told they should have won. They fall to First Coast Christian 27-12. So back down the scoreboard, then we'll wrap this up with final thoughts. Satellite over Oxbridge Academy 46-7. Palm Bay over Cocoa Beach 34-18. Vero Beach over Cocoa 38-3. O'Galley with a hard-fought victory for a second straight week over Brevard County rival 16-12. Congratulations to the Commodores. They're 2-1. St. Andrews over MCC 21-9. We didn't even talk about Melbourne. Congratulations to Melbourne. I totally missed Melbourne. Jeff Panucci will get me for that one. Good for the Bulldogs. Good bounce-back win for them.
And here's the thing. That was a come-from-behind victory. At one point, we saw Melbourne was down a bit, and then all of a sudden they come up, and at the end of the game, they finished the game. They got ahead and then put another score to double it up. Great job for Coach Panucci and those Bulldogs.
One of the more underrated games of this season is going to be, I don't know how good Osceola is, so I don't know how good Vieira or Melbourne's going to fare against. I know Osceola and Mainland played, and Mainland beat them in the fourth quarter. I don't know how good Osceola is. So, but I do know that a matchup that I really want to see is that Vieira and Melbourne District showdown. That's going to be a good one, and I'm excited. Look in here. You look at Melbourne. Let me see here. Let's get here. I want to give some love. Hold on here. Fourth quarter, 34-16. Yeah, they were down at the half, 9-7. Melbourne scored 27 points in the second half to win, and the defense holds University. So Jefferson with a 41-yard pass from Hall. That freshman is dynamic. Jefferson again with a 1-yard run. Jefferson again with a 41-yard pass from Hall and Jefferson and Hall. Melbourne's on to something. Thomas with a 30-yard pass from Hall. Johnson with a 15-yard run. That freshman, listen, for all the talk we're doing about Xavier Corbin, Tyrese Jefferson is just as electric and just as good. Yeah. I mean, he's special. They're both special. I guarantee you by the time that'll happen again. So
I mean, listen, you made the post, I believe, after the Kickoff Classics about the bright futures of
the freshmen and the sophomore in this county.
I'll tell you, however this season shakes out, I can promise you it's going to be exciting football, especially the next couple seasons.
Well,
as these.
Yeah, next couple seasons. We could be in a little bit of trouble this year in terms of team-wise. Well, I'll end with that note there. But congratulations to Jeff Panucci and the Melbourne Bulldogs for bouncing back. Cardinal Mooney over Rockledge 39-3. Vieira 40-14. Over Astronaut Holy Trinity 47-0 over Port St. Lucie. West Orange 54. Titusville 21. DeLand 57. Merritt Island 51. If you had the over of 108 in that game, you lost. Bayside 22-6 over Tradition Prep. 8-man Merritt Island Christian 55. Countryside 16. First Coast 27. Calvary Chapel 12. What do we know? What do we think we know after week 3, week 4? Well, congratulations to Dan Burke and the Satellite Scorpions, because they are the only undefeated team in 11-man, and Merritt Island Christian in 8-man. I can tell you right now that if you look across the county, there is not one clear-cut power in this county. There's just not. This is not the season where it's Cocoa, O'Galley, and somebody else. It's not that year. This county is for a few teams to take, whether it is Cocoa, whether it is O'Galley, whether it is Merritt Island, whether a team like Titusville could bounce back, or a team like MCC could put some things together, or maybe it's a young team like Melbourne. I don't know. You don't know. I promise you. But I do know one thing. Right now, we don't have a team, I think, that will be playing in a state championship or a Final Four. We're getting to that point of the season where we can make those determinations. Regional finals, but that's okay because, take you back to 2015 when we saw a team like Vieira, who during the regular season Nobody expected Vieira to play for a state championship that year, and they just got better as the season progressed, playing a hard schedule. And there could be a team that surprises us that pops up. Maybe Merritt Island this year is that team from 2021.
Yeah.
And O'Galley, Coco, who knows? But we don't know yet because nothing we've seen to this point indicates that. And that's okay. That's okay. There's a perfect storm of a lot of things happening right now in Brevard County high school football. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. It's all coming together. We'll figure it out as the season progresses. I know a lot of these teams are trying to figure it out. Here's hoping your team is one of those teams that can figure it out. For Caleb Brown, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski.